by Avex. And again, if you're just tuning in and wondering, well, what on earth are these maps? The Team Liquid map contest is a tournament put on by Team Liquid and Blizzard, and it is a contest which allows us to see... It allows map makers to submit maps. There's over 150 maps submitted. They've been whittled down to 16 finalists. And these 16 finalists are being used in this tournament so that we can check this out. As we get ready to rumble here. The raid is here with a party of 9,500. Well, that's pretty crazy. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Again, you're just in time for the first matchup of the day. Reynor versus Clem. Let's do this then to the upper right-hand side. Our blue Zerg player. This is... My screen freezing up. This is Reynor. Whoa, my screen really freezing up. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not a good way to start. Whoa, what's actually happening? Okay, we're good. We're good. To the top left-hand side, our red Terran player is Clem. As both these players and Exceed Esports, a team which actually has a pretty strong roster with the strength of these up-and-coming players such as Clem and Reynor. As we'll be seeing this Overlord of Reynor just flying on over through the top side of the map. And he is going to meet Bubbles, our friendly neighborhood 8-eyed tentacle-faced creature that lives here on the top side of Year Zero. As we see this Overlord continue on over, obviously wants to get scouting. And again, this map by Avex, the maker of Blackpink, the maker of Backwater, some maps you might recognize from recent map pools. He made Odyssey as well, a map which was absolutely 100% one of the best maps we had in the map pool for a little while, though certain races preferred it more than others. So Avex really a high, always a high contender in the TLMC, has won it twice in a row before as well. Didn't win the last one though, or the one before that, so... This is maybe his chance to shine again with Year Zero. Now we're opening up into a fairly standard game. We see the command center coming down onto the low ground. We're going to be seeing the hatcheries obviously coming up as well here from Reynor as well. Nothing too crazy to start things off. Hatch Gas Pool versus a Reaper Expand is the go-to for TVZ, which will give us just a couple of moments to walk you around this map and show you just what's going on as this first Reaper starts to head on over to the right-hand side. So the third base can be taken up here and is protected by some rocks. Alternatively, you can head down to the south. And I kind of get that feeling the Terrans may start to prefer this space a little bit more, while the Zerg player will generally prefer to take the southern base and just expand, keeping away from their opponent. Before the Reaper gets there, again, bottom right of the map is pretty interesting too. It's pretty much a map that can go split map, but isn't guaranteed to go split map. So this is going to be pretty interesting again, just to see how it turns out. But the first Reaper is here. The aggression will begin. And the Reaper is looking to see just what it can get up to right now. Alright, so this Reaper just poking around, of course, doesn't want to overcommit. You don't want to lose this Reaper. It's going to be important, keeping track of the third hatchery. It can also give you a bit of an inkling as to a couple of all-ins that are coming your way. So a lot to watch out for at the moment here, as we're going to be seeing Clem's Reaper now backing off to the left-hand side. Again, a good defense by Reynor, as we expect. Doesn't lose anything. And again, this Reaper isn't designed to necessarily do damage, it's about information. And there is ways you can get into the map here to pick up info. He'll go for this creep tumor, but it's a bit too late. He could maybe just jump in towards the main base here and go for a little bit of a scout if he wants to. As it stands, there isn't actually much to scout. It is a gasless now play after starting speed. And even that is good information though, because it takes away aggressive possibilities from Reynor, such as a lot of roach attacks, such as a lot of roach timings, which could work out here. This Marine starting to work its way through, this Overlord getting this ready to go, and obviously Reynor just wants to scout this out. Seeing that this is going to be bio play, most likely sees the stim pack early on. Clem is a player who will play a mixture of bio and mech styles. So flying on over, seeing that stim pack, that's already great information here from Reynor. A good first scout to get things going. As you see a Reaper grenade going down, and Queens getting bopped around all over the place as well. Has to be careful with these Hellions though. The Queen's actually not quite surrounding, but it will add a little bit more damage, and Clem doesn't want to lose these. He wants to make sure his Hellions are nice and healthy. The healthier they are, the better of a chance he has of doing something in terms of running by, dealing damage elsewhere. At the moment, it doesn't really seem like he's got much of an opportunity, but that's because he's keeping his Hellions at home. He's afraid of the potential run-by of these Zerglings, and because of that, he's staying very defensive at home. He's making sure to stay sharp and to stay in a nice little position. Viking comes through for the Overlord. I mean, with the Queen and Spore Crawler here, it's going to be pretty close. You can tank a couple of Queen shots, and I think Clem realizes that he will get the kill. No transfuse available, so Clem able to pick up a kill already. And again, those 6 Hellions are now being a little bit more adventurous on the map. Now he's got his wall off up at home. He doesn't have to be as afraid of Ling run-bys. He can maybe dive in with these Hellions, but hey, it's Reynor, and he is perfectly in position. Queens and Zerglings set up exactly where they need to be able to deal with those Hellions. Just going to be seeing these rocks being targeted. Not really sure if that's something which Clem should be too interested in. Reaper Grenade going to bounce to actually save the majority of these Hellions, because that was getting a little bit dangerous. And as you will see again, those rocks just sat here. It's a bit of a choked up area. I kind of feel like this is good for the Terran though, these rocks, because if you push along this side, you can set up a siege tank line here, and obviously it's a very choked up area for the Zerg to run on through into, and that becomes very difficult to fight against, of course. So I think obviously it was probably a bit of a misclick. He probably wasn't intending to take them down, but it does bring them to our attention, which is nice to see, of course. As we'll see those Lings looking for us around here once again. Ripper Grenade is not quite as good as the last one in terms of saving Hellions. And we'll just be able to micro for a couple more Zerg kills here. I mean, a few of them are still low. They're looking for that surround. They're really hunting for it here. Hellions still trading well, despite there only being 2 left, but that will be the end of one of them, and the other is continuing to have to run away, just about able to survive for the moment. Now, the combat shield starting up on the barracks at home from Clem. He's actually on 5 racks here, but he will throw down the next command center as well anyways. So it's not like he's completely 2-based all in, but it is going to be a lot of pressure. Going 5 racks before the 3rd CC really will say, hey, I'm going to drop, I'm going to have a lot of bio, my pushes are going to be full of units, I'm going to have so much to come at you with. As those 2 medevacs heading over to the right-hand side, the Viking has to be careful. Lone health from Alien. Well, the Queens should just get this right here. Clem exploring a little bit too far forwards, but he was just clearing the pathway, making sure this drop can come in somewhat unseen, even if it is just for clearing creep. Having the few moments here where he can actually get these creep tumors without being pushed away allows him to sit very comfortably and very happily. Marines jumping back into those medevacs, and we are going to be seeing a jump in towards the main base. The Marines unloading once again. These Zerglings starting to come forwards, and that will force these medevacs to lift up and back away off over to the left-hand side. Armory currently on the way up, but it's actually, he must already have an armory because he started +2 attack. So I'm not sure what that's about actually, Clem. Started +2 attack, +1 armor now on the way. He was only on a single engineering bay for a long time, which is a little bit different to what we usually see in the TVZ. This is a matchup which actually a lot of the time revolves around double engineering bay playstyles. So for a single engineering bay, it is a little bit different. It is not what we would usually expect. And Clem is playing, well, I would say to be a great game so far, by the way, guys. He dives in on these Queens, finds a mistake from Reynor, who misses a transfuse, not something you'll see all the time. Clem even gets in there and saves what he can, though maybe time for those medevacs to go get a heal, get repaired. Although he drops off down here, looks as though he will have an opportunity for another couple creep tumors. Yeah, I think a great game so far by Clem, cleaning up creep. He really hasn't made any mistakes. He really hasn't lost any units so far. These units are starting to go down, though. Widow Mines are a bit far forwards, and that was a moment in which Clem was maybe not paying as much attention as he should have been as he pushes forwards to try and attack into Reynor here. Now, 1-1 upgrades versus +1. Clem's actually behind on upgrades, which doesn't happen a lot for a Terran player in TVZ. Repercussions of that single engineering bay playstyle. As we're going to be seeing these... this Overlord just getting taken down right here. Widow Mines continue to move around as well. A couple more Widow Mines setting up at the moment. And we are going to be seeing, I mean, this is nice. I mean, he zones off this top side, although leaving the Widow Mines alone allows for, in some ways, the Lings to just kind of come in a couple at a time. And those Widow Mines are not going to get many kills. It was a good fight initially, but at the same time, well, Reynor is being Reynor. You better bet it's Reynor if he's got Lings across the map running around everywhere. Clem loses 12 SCVs, a couple of depots, and oh no, the reinforcements to clean this up have run past the Zerglings. A Widow Mine, though, will get a big connection, and that Widow Mine being the saving grace in terms of helping to clean this up in some way at least. Clem, though, having that 3rd base lifted right now. These Lings keep on sneaking by and even just getting up to the main. Okay, denied from the main base. It's something that she's been able to stop happening. That's a big win as we see stimming forwards. A 5th base from Reynor is very far forwards here. Will be taken down. A Zergling picked off as well. A couple of creep tumors also being picked away at. Lings coming forwards for the surround. Bane's rolling in. Clem's already up and out of there as he begins to reinforce. 2 more medevacs setting up to come around the top side of the map. The upgrade lead is now there from Clem, but only for the next few seconds. And in fact, even as I'm saying that, the +2 carapace is finished and +2 melee is well on the way. Currently just 20 seconds away from completing. I'm putting Reynor Reynor back into that upgrade lead. This is going to have to be another lift and leave. Well, this time one of those damaged medevacs actually will go down here. So unfortunately we'll be losing out as these Spore Crawlers just going to deflect these drops. Booster's already been used, so it's a very slow approach here from Clem, and he realizes this is not going to work. So backing away from this side is Clem. Oh no, again. Lings are going to hit his third base, and just against Reynor, I think you always need a bunker, static defense, something to help you out on this third base. I mean, obviously the bunker is the best option, or at least get the wall up here ASAP, or have units positioned defensively, because Reynor is amazing at these run-bys. He's awesome at them, and he will use them to his advantage. Sorry for that slight stutter, guys. Not sure what my StarCraft's doing. It is just my version of StarCraft 2, as... let's actually take a quick look at Reynor's point of view right now. In the picture-in-picture, this is what Reynor's looking at as he forces the third CC to relocate. He's got a drop on the bottom side. Just actually pick it up, and that's how Reynor picks up this victory. GG's, Reynor. Crystal Cavern. Again, a map by Mavis. I actually really like this one on a TVZ. We saw of it the other day. We'll take you around it in just a quick moment or two. For now, let's kick this off and see just how our day is going to be starting or continuing. To the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran player. This is Clem. And in the upper right-hand side of the map, our red Zerg player. This, my friends, is Reynor. Both from XZD Sports playing against each other here in the round of 12 of this $4,000 tournament. I'd like to remind you all that this tournament as well does have a $700 prize pool for the best players using the features of the new maps. So if you see something cool that really kind of puts the maps to use, let us know what you think of it and all the rest. We also have picture-in-picture and play here today, guys, so we can show first-person view of the players or action on multiple sides of the map at the same time. Just getting warmed up with it once again. It's been a little while since we used it, so hopefully we'll get more use out of that throughout the day, and we'll try and point it out to you guys when we do have it on the screen, of course. So hopefully that's good for you. It's making me a little bit sick to watch Reynor's point of view right now. He's just flicking between bases so quickly. This is a pool first from Reynor, so already looking to open a little bit aggressively, but not overly aggressive. There's no gas behind this, so it's not like he wants to make a few lings and then flood more Zerglings in with the Zergling speed. No, instead he's going to be looking to try and just make a few lings to kind of harass, be a little bit annoying early. If you can slow down that command center on the natural, then perfect, job done. But he will generally be looking towards a third hatchery, an extractor coming down eventually too, so he can start making his way towards that Zergling speed and making his way onward from that point. Now a few of these Zerglings start to sneak out onto the map, so here we go, 6 Zerglings of Reynor heading down to the bottom left-hand side. We do see that Reaper from Clem is going to be finishing up in just a few moments, of course. And the question is, where does he send that Reaper? Because if he starts to send it across the map, that's when those Zerglings come across, and that's when they turn into a massive annoyance, where they really will delay this. This is a double jump pad, by the way, so you can jump down twice to get across here with the Reaper. Protects the main base from mass Reaper play a little bit more, because if they have to double jump, it slows their retreat and gives Queens or Roaches more time to get damage done. Well, the Reaper does go across the map, and the first 6 Zerglings are already coming up the ramp here to get some damage done. This is a Marine build, though, from Clem, so he has something to start fighting. Will have to pull some SCVs. Misclick by Reynor, doesn't target the SCV initially there, so a small mistake to get started. Oh, the Zerglings get the Marine kill, but the Reaper is on the way home, and the SCV micro is very good in the main base. Yes, mining time lost, but obviously, Reynor also had to build 6 lings. He went for the pool first, and that will affect him too, as we'll see that Reaper going in here. Finally finds himself for a second SCV. Again, the SCV micro up until now was really quite stellar from Clem. Now it's just not even lacking a little bit, just wasn't quite ready for that. Of course, a lot going on at the same time right now, but he is able to make this work. What's up, Flotch, with the 19-month resub? How are you doing? Thank you so much for the 19 months. Said he just got to see stats win, and now he gets to watch some Wardy casting. Today is freaking great. Thank you so much for the 19-month resub, Flotch. Appreciate it, dude. Hope you're doing well. Now there is the Rotoron from Reynor, and this is a little bit earlier than you might usually expect to see it. So this is maybe a bit more aggressive than what we were expecting from him. I wasn't really expecting it because it was hatch pool gas. And especially with the Ling speed here, he's not going to have a ton of roaches, though I guess by the time it finishes, he'll have enough gas for 6 or so, which is actually pretty reasonable. That Overlord popping at pretty much the perfect time to free up more supply, to spam out these roaches. And this is going to be roaches backed up by Zerglings, and right now, obviously Clem doesn't really have much of an idea about it. His Reaper being kept at home for a long time means he's not being able to move into the main base and scout. And B, he's not really setting up really that well against roaches. Obviously, Hellions don't do a great job against roaches. They're great against lings, but roaches, no, they don't really work. There's a Liberator, at least, which is something. But the question is that Liberator going to be at home? Now, one thing Clem is doing nicely is he's bringing his Hellions towards the front here. And as they're at the front, if roaches were made to move across the map, well, Clem will see them, because Reynor only has one way to get out of the base. So Clem sees this, and now you can start to respond with a Tech Lab on the barracks. I was going to say, you can make a Marauder, but actually just swapping that over and getting a Banshee will guarantee damage, or guarantee a cleanup here, as Hellions trying to run by, but the roaches are still around. Loses the Reaper. The Hellions still up, though. So that's not all too bad. Keeps a couple of Hellions at home. We'll want to finish this wall off, and one SCV comes forward for that now. Bunker coming at the front as well. Now, this isn't completely all in from Reynor, making drones behind it. He has a follow-up to this, but definitely hoping for some damage here. And as we will see, that Banshee is just about halfway done. Starts a couple of reacted Cyclones, which will help out too. Liberator sieges and starts to force some lost mining time. Reynor very quick to respond, not even losing a drone though. Again, those Hellions will want to try and get rid of the Zerglings to allow the Cyclones to just fully focus on the roaches. SCVs will pull up to the high ground, and so far the Cyclones not quite doing the job they want to, because one of them is blocked in the back. 7 SCVs down, but again, Reynor committed a lot of units, lost a droning time to be able to do this so far. There's going to be seeing this Banshee showing up, but is it just a little bit too late? The Cyclones fall. SCVs will now be pulled away as the Banshee will clean this up, but 12 workers killed. Is it just a little bit too much? Because again, in terms of follow-up pressure, there's not really going to be any follow-up pressure here for the Terran players. This is the SCV which goes back onto the command center building at the front. The Liberator that was across the map has been killed off as well, and Reynor just hasn't lost a single drone throughout this. Slowing down the third base means it's not even finished to start recapturing the SCV production yet either. Man, a little bit of an unfortunate moment or two, as we'll see a couple of extra barracks on the way down from Clem. Starport landed onto the reactor for a moment or two here, which didn't actually do anything in the end. We'll now move it off to its own reactor. Probably wants to make sure these barracks have their own reactors to go onto. And the factory will probably take a tech lab position, just so that it can start to push out some siege tanks, as he does know that obviously with a roach opening, there's very likely going to be a roach-based follow-up. And even if it isn't a roach-based follow-up, the tanks are very good against the general metagame of Lingbane Hydra nowadays anyways. So, as we set up into this here, you'll see this one Banshee from Clem just patrolling out the front, just waiting for more units to perhaps come on forwards to try and see what's up and what's going on. Roach speed starting in the main base, so again, Reynor will commit to these roaches for the most part at the moment. That's one thing Clem can maybe look at and be like, okay, well that's, not so bad, because hey, roaches are not the scariest of units in the Zerg army. They are when they get up en masse, but if you already have tanks to start dealing with that, it will help out quite a bit, as you will see this Banshee of Clem moving forwards, and it will be looking to try and pick up a couple of drones here. So already one drone picked off. We'll see the Banshee pushed away instantly. It is a cloakless Banshee, didn't invest into cloak. All he wanted to do was to actually clean up those roaches, so anything he does with this Banshee from this point on is kind of an added bonus. There's a lot of things you can do with the Banshee. We just saw it picking up a quick drone kill over there. It can obviously try and work its way through a couple of creep tumors at the front. More roaches, a couple of Ravagers morphing in. This setup from Reynor in the middle of the map at the moment, just getting set and ready to go. We do see 1-1 upgrades and a stim pack coming through from Clem as well, so that will be almost set as we see this orbital command is, well, just starting up another SCV on the third base, so that's coming through. The 2 medevacs will start a boost across the map. Now stim will be done, so this is Clem's real opportunity to maybe get some counter damage, especially as Reynor comes across the map himself. The issue is, now, is there enough to defend? As I've been talking about Clem starting up tanks, but he only has one of them at the moment, and that is so many roaches and Ravagers from Reynor as he gets set up to come across here. Marines will stim in towards this right-hand side hatchery. So this hatch already taking quite a bit of damage and getting very low. Here come the roaches and Ravagers moving in. A few SCVs already dropping. The tank on the high ground will be corrosive by that Overseer given vision. Now there's just one tank to clean up over here. And okay, you kill the 4th base Clem, but you won't be doing much more than that. That's a GG, and Reynor will be picking up game number 2 of this battle from GSL vs. the World. So come say hi. Let us know maybe who you're cheering on in this TVZ series as well. Would love to hear what you guys have to say about, well, who you want to win. And of course, if you're new around the tip block, well, again, it'd be great to meet you. We kick this off to the top left-hand side of the map. Our blue Zerg player this time opens with a very early gas. This time, looking for a very quick win. The blue Zerg on the top left-hand side is Reynor. already up 2-0 here, and that's a 14-14. That is very aggressive. So, sorry, 14-13. Yes, 14-13. So it is very aggressive, and it will mean that he's generally going to get a probably pull out at 100 gas is the usual way to do this, and to go into a bit of a Zergling kind of rush across the map. Now we better talk about the other side of the map as well, because as we go into his vision, we'll probably see him flicking to it a little bit. To the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player is Clem, but you'll notice his main base is empty, and he keeps flicking across to this side of the map on his point of view cam, and that is because 2 barracks are currently being proxied and built on this upper side of the map. So a couple of barracks already coming up over here, and well, that's obviously going to be intriguing to see how it plays out against such an early gas pool, because as he arrives, I don't think this goes well at all for Clem. I think he gets hard countered basically, because there is such a fast link speed, there's going to be so many Zerglings, and his marine count isn't going to be that great. I mean, we're talking about Zerglings on the map and moving across before before Marines are even out here. As Clem moves forwards and he sees the lack of a hatchery, he might be able to wall off, but how is he ever going to get units home to properly defend? He's going to have to endlessly repair these SCV depots. I mean, it's not going to work out too well at all. I mean, Clem sees the lack of a hatch. He knows about it. And now these Zerglings started coming. He has to start microing back right away. And there just should be enough links to realistically jump onto that bunker and to shut this down. And Clem proxy is not going well at the moment. Having to pull away with those couple of Marines. The SCV's in some trouble too. He will pull back to his barracks where, well, he'll get another couple of Marines out. The Ling's obviously known where that is, though. Doesn't bode well for him. We'll see this bunker will be cancelled, of course. Doesn't want to commit into that just there as those 2 Marines. Well, he's going to keep on kiting away, but even against slow Zerglings, it isn't looking good. And that Ling speed is just seconds away from kicking in. Unfortunately, this has not worked out at well. Let's Sniper in the chat is saying hello, cheering for Reynor today. A lot of people saying hello and saying hi for the first time. Gucci himself, first time watching a StarCraft stream. Well, welcome to StarCraft. We actually have a crazy game of StarCraft today because a large tournament in Korea has a non-Korean player in the grand finals. Crazy stuff. SCV is going to repair these depots. At least there is a factory at home. I mean, okay, so I've been talking a little bit about what's going on in here, but I mean, let's actually consider what is happening, which is there is kind of a follow-up behind the 2 racks, right? You know, this isn't just going to be 2 racks and nothing else. If this is 3 racks, I actually think maybe Clem would be dead, but this opener does set you up with a follow-up, and it's going to be a Baneling bust from Reynor very soon. More Lings gathering across the map. Clem doesn't seem to know about it. And he's building a reactor on the factory, which means he only has 1 Hellion. 3 Banes starting to morph in. 4 Banes and a 5th as well will be the perfect number of Banelings to bust through these depots. And the brand new reactor. And that's the issue. The fact he's only going to have 1 Hellion is really going to make this a struggle here. He's making a medevac too, which is really also not going to help out. Clem needs to actually supply blocked as well. He's got his depot finishing up. He's going to be supply blocked for so long as Hellions might not even get a chance to come up here. The Banes don't even have to go off on the depot. Medevac comes out. Will be able to micro these units around to some extent. SCV's pulling. Just not having to use the Banelings on the depot is a massive issue here. And those SCVs are just going to be exploding right now. Again, not having the depot up is... I mean, maybe if the depot gets taken down, then you get a couple Hellions out. You know, maybe there's a real possibility at that stage. Right now, I'm not too sure. These Lings are going to continue going at it. And that is Reynor picking up the 3-0 to start off today's...